Hi there, my name is Dax. I'm head of production in my company, and today I will be reviewing the TeamScan module in MyQ7 Leader. As I'm head of production, by default I will see all of the whole team from production, but I'm only a direct manager of 5 team members. So first I need to filter out the people that are not reporting directly to me by using the filters, and I need to find the filter relation. Then I need to select manager, and this will give me only my direct reports for whom I need to do the profiling today. If I want to reuse this filter for easier access, I can save it like this by calling it my direct reports. And if I want to reuse it later on, I can just clear it and I can reload it from here, and it will apply the same filter. My company has started using MyQ7 Leader a few years ago, and I'm not a new manager, so I already have some data here. But if you're a new manager or if you have new team members, then you might see some empty lines here. So you might not see the team scans like I do here. This is because I can see the history of the team scans done in the previous talent cycles. We'll be profiling Kendra, so I will just go to her individual page. Here on top of the page, I will see some personal information for Kendra. If I open this menu here, I can see some extra fields if necessary, but I can always close it. And then I have the persona and the smart questions. And the smart questions are always linked to the last team scan made. So if you don't have any team scans in your history here, then you will not have a persona and smart questions. But once you have created a team scan, this will be auto-populated. The platform will generate them for you. This is the team scan. So as I said, my company has started using Q7 Leader a long time ago, so I can see history from 2021. But in your case, you might have less lines here or more, depending on how long your company has been using it. I can also add some extra columns in this view here if I want to see some more information, like I can see the create date or the time in role linked to those team scans. So I have some more context here. I have the succession planning, and here I can decide who could be a possible successor for Kendra, or who may be succeeded by Kendra, or what might be the next career move for her. This field might or might not be visible for you depending on whether your company is using the RDP module. Next, I have the development scan. So here I will see the part where I can create a new development scan, or if I've already created it, all the answers will appear here, like you will see afterwards. And then I can consult the RDP, so the role description and profile linked to my team member. Again, if your company is not using the RDP, then you will not see this section at all. So here I can see the specific expectations for the role of Kendra. In this case, it's brewer and distiller. So I can consult all the definitions that are linked to a brewer and distiller role. And at the bottom, I will find the management practices that are linked to the role of my team member. So in this case, Kendra is an administrator. So my management practices will give me some ideas on how to best manage a team member that is in the administrator role profile. I need to create a new team scan. So I can go to the profile scan, continue. Question is already answered by HR, so I don't need to make any selection, but in your case, you might need to do it. So this depends on your company policy. So as the first question is already answered, I need to start my work from question 2, which is the operating mode. So I need to see at what level does my team member operate compared to the expectations of my organization. Brewer and distiller, the expectation is level 2, administrator, where I can also extend and I can read the definitions in more detail. And I need to decide whether Kendra as a team member operates at this level or not, or maybe below or maybe above. So I will go to continue and then next. Next question is performance. So we need to see what is the performance of my team member in the last 6 months, so since the last talent cycle. And I have 3 categories. So I have below expectations, meets expectations, or above expectations. Or in case your team member has been in the role for less than 90 days, then I can select new. So here I can also always open the definitions and I can read them. In my case, I know that Kendra is in good standards, and I can make this selection and move on to the next question. So here we can choose the talent and potential. So here we're looking at the future and seeing whether Kendra has a potential to move into a higher or more complex role in the future. So I can again read the definitions by always opening the selection if I want to. In my case, after consulting the definitions, I can conclude that Kendra is a key contributor. So I will make this selection. Then we have the vision and values matrix, where I need to select at what level does Kendra reflect the values of our company. So here we have two variables. We have workmanship or performance, and we have citizenship. Based on that, we have all these different levels. After consulting the definitions, I know that Kendra is an emerging in vision values. So I will select that one and I'll move to the next question. Then we have the reward. So in my company, us as managers, we know at what level our team members are remunerated. So I can select that she's paid at median. But in your company, you might not have this data, or you might only think, but you might not be sure. So you can either select one of these if you're not sure, or you can select no clue if this is the case. In some cases, you might not have this information, but your HR might. So in this case, you can select no clue, and then HR will update this data later on. In this page, we have some fields that have already been pre-filled by HR, so I don't need to do anything about those, but I do need to answer the risk of attrition question. So how likely is Kendra to leave the company within the next 6 to 9 months? In my case, I will say that it's low. And then I will just finish my team scan. So as I said, the persona and the smart questions are always linked to the last team scan, so they have been generated by the platform, and this is the team scan that we just created. If later you are doing a talent review and you change your mind about any of the questions for the last team scan, you are able to edit this team scan. So if, for example, I'm not sure about the performance, so when the talent review comes and in fact I discuss with my colleagues and I decide that she's not a good performer, but she's a high performer, I can click on the last line, go to the performance question, and then I can select the correct value, and then I can simply exit. So then the last team scan will be updated with this value. However, if it's the new team scan that you need to create, but not update the last one, like in my case, when I changed my mind about a certain value from this talent cycle and not from the previous one, then I can click on this line. But if you need to create a new line, please always go to the profile scan. Also, if you have some development scans in the history here and you would like to view it, so in my case, I don't have any, but if you do, then for example, here there might have been a development scan, but I'm not sure what were the values back then. So I can click on the three dots again, and I can view the related development scan here. So as I said here, there was no development scan, so I'm not going to see them, but otherwise, if there is, you will see all the answers linked to that development scan created at the time. So if I want to create a development scan, I can either go to the start button here, or I can go to the little arrow next to profile scan and click on development scan. So the development scan will help me validate the operating mode of my team member. So here I will have all the definitions linked to an administrator role profile, which is linked to Kendra. So I can decide whether I disagree, agree, or it's an area of strength for Kendra for each of the variables. So I can just answer these questions quickly. And then I can save. Before I save, actually, I would like to take a note. So while you're doing the team scan or the development scan, at any point, you will have access to these 3 horizontal lines here. So you can just write something down if you have something on your mind. So I can just open the notes section, and here I can write a note, write my title, select a note type. So this might be an actionable item, or it might be a summary of a talent review. So in my case, it's an actionable item. So I will just select that, save, and then I have my note that I've created during my development scan, and then I can save. If at any other point you want to create a note, you will always have access to these 3 lines, so you can see the note that you've just created or any notes that you've created in the past. Or you can create a new note from here. Take a note. So since I've created a development scan, here I will see all my answers. So in yellow are the areas of development, in light green are developed, and in dark green are areas of strength. I can also consult the percentages. So in this case, this development scan was linked to the last team scan, and I can see that I have 31% area of development and 31% area of strength. So this is all that you need to do during your talent cycle. If at any point you need to consult the notes that you've created for your team, you can always go to the notes section here. And you can view all the notes that you have ever taken for your team. You can also add some extra columns here. So for example, the date, the type of note, and the author, because sometimes it might not be you that created that note. I can also enter some filters, so I can just find one team member, but I can also view that one team member's notes via their individual page, like I showed you before. And I can also filter by note types, or if I want to see only the notes taken from this talent cycle, for example, say from the 15th of May until today. So these are all the notes that were taken in that time range. I hope this was clear, and thank you for watching.